We have a guest if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
This is Allie Princess. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming
Hello.
on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we thought it was important to actually have someone who can speak firsthand on this topic instead of two dudes explaining.
Let me talk about this. I don't know anything about it, but let me tell you about it.
Exactly, right?
Two dudes
The only way-
mansplaining about toxicity towards women.
Yeah, we thought that would not be very appropriate. So we wanted to have you on. And clearly today we're going to be talking about women's experience in gaming.
Right. More so toxicity towards women in gaming.
Yeah.
Do you feel as it do you think we've made any progress like at all? Specifically referring to men, have we made any progress whatsoever?
A little more, yeah, because I used
more?
to play Call of Duty like back on Xbox, and that was just couldn't speak. Like that was it. Just could not speak. And then now I can go in the siege and I can speak, and like I'll get 3 different reactions, and not all of them are terrible. So
Right.
I think
What kind of reactions would you get?
I'll get a, oh my god, that's a girl.
Mhm.
I'll get, go back to the kitchen, and then I'll just get, I don't care, you're just a person.
So you don't think go back to the kitchen was bad?
I said not all of them are bad. Not all
of them were bad. I see. Okay.
So it sounds like there's a 66.6% chance that it's bad.
Well, sometimes you get where they're nice at first, and then you shut them down, and then they get like super aggressive.
Right.
So.
How long ago was this? When you were playing Call of Duty? Like how old were you when you started playing games?
When I started playing online games, I was probably like 8. So I was like super young. I was playing on my dad's like Xbox account. And like I'd speak in game, and it was just like game over. Like that was it. So then I stopped. I would just play like the campaign over and over again. And then I got to where I was like a little older, and then I got my own account. So I started playing more. And I made some friends. I made some Xbox friends that I'm still friends with like today, and some have moved over to PC. But I don't know. It's been a while since I've like sat down in a Call of Duty lobby, and like that was it. I played the new Modern Warfare when it came out, and like I was like solo. That was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it could have been better.
Right. Were you aware what was going on? Like when you were a kid, like were you aware that what you were experiencing was not right?
Yes and no. I didn't understand everything they said to me because like some things I hadn't like learned, I didn't know what they meant. So I didn't understand at first. And then like some things I was like, that doesn't sound right. And like some things I would repeat back to my parents, and they'd be like, where did you hear that?
Right.
And it was like very awkward conversations.
Right. So how old were you when you started to realize like the stuff that I was hearing was totally fucked up? How old were you when you had that epiphany?
Probably around 10, when I started like playing like a lot more, like got back in the multiplayer, and then especially like when I got on, like when I had my own account, so I could just play like whenever I wanted, and I could hear a lot more things, and like all the messages like I could see, and I was like, yeah, this does not seem right. And then like thinking back about it now, I'm like, wow, like none of that was right at all.
Right.
So are you comfortable sharing some of the like worst shit that people have said to you? Because I'm sure it gets a lot worse than just get back in the kitchen. Like I'm sure it's worse than that.
I have some screenshots that pop up in my Snapchat memories like every year that I took from a siege game. And this guy, I think we were in like an unranked or something, and I was called a bitch. I was told he was going to rail through me.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that pops up in my Snapchat memory every year. And anytime like any of my friends try to defend them, they like start being toxic towards my friends, and kind of just like that's why I 5-stack, because then I don't get randoms like speaking to me. Worst comes to worst, it's in the game chat and I can mute it, but I mean it's still like bothersome.
Right. Of course it is. So have you noticed like I don't know what's worse, and I'm pretty sure you've experienced this too. Do you think it's worse if someone's just blatantly nasty to you, or that subtle kind of snarky comments? What do you think? Do you find one worse than the other?
I don't know if one would be worse. I mean, like both are super annoying, but I think snarky is a little more annoying because it's more condescending to me. Like, I'm just stupid type of thing. Like, I know what you're doing.
Right.
But, like, if you're just blatantly just, like, disgusting, I'm like, okay, well, like, that's just how you are. But, like, if you're snarky about it, then it's just like, well, you think I'm, like, too stupid.
Yeah, I feel like people who are just subtly snarky, I was just like, dude, fuck you, man.
Yeah,
I know what you're doing. You're not cute. Like, I know what you're trying to say. Don't be a dick.
Just say it. Be a man, grow a pair, say it. Like, come on.
Or just simply not say it at all,
Yeah.
which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Like that. That's what...
Yeah. Did you have to, like, mentally prepare yourself when you play games?
Sometimes. I know, like, if I've had, like, a bad day, definitely, because just karma type thing, I guess. I don't know, just one thing after another. So if I've had, like, a bad day, I know it's going to be a bad day of Siege. There are some times where, like, I have to, like, take a break from games because I'm like, okay, like, that was, like, way too much for me. Like, I've got to, like, walk away or, like, just chill in the lobby or something because that was just too much. I know I've taken, like, weeks off of, like, gaming and streaming in general because it was just super, super bad.
Right.
Took, like, a week off last summer because this clip got out of, like, a very staged ace in, like, a college summer league. So, it was just staged. It was blatantly staged. I even said it was. And it ended up in, like, 2 YouTube videos. And I just got so much hate for it just because I was a female. And I shouldn't have been playing like that. So I just, week off of gaming, week off of streaming, like, that was it. Like, I was just, like, I needed to step back.
Do you feel like if a male posted that same ace, would they have gotten the same shit that you got, do you think?
Maybe, but not as bad. Because people, like, were like, yeah, that's staged. But then people were actually, like, coming into the stream and was like, oh, of course it'd be a woman that would stage it like that.
Because you're not good enough to get an ace.
Yeah, I'm not good enough to get an ace, not staged. So, but yeah.
I know which week it was 2 weeks ago when we touched a little bit on toxicity in gaming, and I forgot who brought it up when it comes to toxicity towards your own teammates or toxicity towards the other team. But sometimes the toxicity that you experience is not necessarily caused by you.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Don, but typically when you get angry, you get frustrated, and you lash out at someone, it's typically because they don't know how to express their anger, or they don't know how to cope with their anger.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I mean, in general, behaviors have like 4 functions, right? So it's like attention, access to tangibles, avoidance or escape, or sensory stimulation. So, like, in theory, if you feel like such shit about yourself, you want to avoid those negative feelings, you could displace it onto someone else. Like, that's like the whole bully syndrome, right? Like, most of the time bullies hate themselves, so they take it out on others. Could be attention. Like, I feel like a lot of people are overly toxic because their buddies maybe will laugh, and maybe they'll think it's like, oh, you're edgy, you're making fun of someone in a video game. Yeah.
Right. But what is it about women in gaming that possesses certain men to behave the way that they do?
I have a couple theories, but I'm curious. Have you ever figured it out, Allie? Like, why men do this? Besides, you know...
Not really. I mean, there's always, like, the someone's better than me type thing. That's always a thing. And I guess they just don't want women to be better than them. I don't know. I haven't figured it out.
And I'm not speaking from experience because I've had my ass kicked by many women in this game, and it is what it is, right? You know, but like there's plenty. I've watched plenty of female Siege streamers that would mop the floor with me any day, and and it's nothing about my manhood. It's just about my no aim. But so I think part of it is that I think games traditionally and still today are marketed more so to men than women. So I'm wondering if some men view it as like encroaching on my territory, sort of subconsciously. They may not actively think that, but there may be some part of them that's like, this is a man's thing, and I'm look stupid because I just got, one tap through a wall by a woman. Fuck this. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know.
But how's that any different from another guy shitting on you? Because isn't it by nature like men are supposed to compete with other men? Isn't like the whole theory of like being dominant and things like that?
What do you mean?
Like, so if I was to compete with someone, I would want to compete with other men, right? And if I do compete with other men, that's when my pride should take a hit.
Are you talking like competing?
Like by nature, just through anything, whether it's hunting and gathering and stuff like that. Aren't we supposed to compete with other men? Shouldn't we feel inadequate when we face off against other men? Is what I'm asking.
So I think some people do, right? Like I think some people, like I've gotten toxicity directed at me before.
Right.
I think it's a different nature, I imagine.
Right.
It's less personal, and I feel like it's more just like, fuck you, you scrub, get good kind of thing.
Right. But we're not attacked for our gender, though.
No, and that's kind of the point I'm making, is I feel like it's less personal when, if I get an ace or if I like clutch around, I may have the other team call me like, a bot or something stupid like that, but I don't think it ever gets as personal like, you're a shitty person, I'm gonna go rape you.
Right.
I've never been threatened to be. What did you say, Allie? It was like
railed
through. I've never had that threatened made.
Railed through, run a train on you. Same dude said the same thing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've never had that threat made, ever, video game or not.
And that's a privilege that we have, right? Like we're not going to be sexually assaulted or verbally sexually assaulted over the internet. So,
yeah, it's pretty appalling.
Right. So what was the question that you were going to ask her yesterday? It was something about
Oh yeah. So you play on a team now?
Yes, I do. I started playing on a team pretty recently, like 6 months ago.
Are you all in any leagues?
We're in a few like minor leagues. We just finished Upsurge. We're getting into a Hydra Core league. We played in like this smaller like 1-day league that was put on by like a TikToker, and so we played in that. We got seconds to that. But yeah, we're trying to get ready for CCSW in October.
Yes. So
Very
that
cool.
leads me actually to my question. I didn't know if you were already in CCSW or if you were going to be competing in CCSW. But so like, your team is all women, I'm assuming?
Yes, it's an all-female team.
So what was like the rationale or reason? Like, is there a reason why that you're going to try to compete in CCSW and not another league, or?
I mean, CCSW is like the really big like women's league, so we were like, yeah, like we'd like to do that. I know, like for me, like when I first started like trying to get in the comp, I was not anywhere where I am today. Like I definitely have gotten better in these like few months. But I was like, I'm not gonna make it like anywhere else. Like I want to try it here and just basically like dip my toe into comp and be around people I'm slightly more comfortable with. Because it is a lot easier to play with women who like kind of match your personality. It's a lot easier. And any like female team like we've played against has always been super kind. Like even if there's just one girl on it, it's always been super kind. But it's just a lot easier with an all women's team. From me personally.
He's got less pressure, right?
I'm sorry?
This is less pressure, right?
It is less pressure, yeah, because we're able to, it's a lot easier to talk to them, and we've all kind of gone through like the different toxicity that's happened, so it's a lot easier for us to be like, yeah, like this has happened, so like we don't want to act like that.
Right. Oh man, I feel like there's just so many questions that we want to ask, but I don't even know where to start.
I mean, I think CCSW is awesome, and I think it's amazing that people have a safe place they feel like they can go and get into competitive Siege. That being said, I think it's fucking horrendous and awful that we have to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like esports, and like compared to like how we have like the NBA, the WNBA, I feel like people can make an argument that there may be some physiological reasons for that, but esports to me should be a level like everyone has equal access. Yeah, like to me it's yeah. Like I mean, I'm glad that a place like that exists for women to go play and feel safe, and get their experience in with comp. But I just feel like it's a damn shame that it's come to that.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying and like what you mean. Because I know Goddess, like she was in Pro League, like one of the only females who's played like Siege professionally, and she was hated on all the time just because like she was a woman, And like even after like where she's just back in the more staff side of Pro League, like she still gets hate from it. Like nobody really thought she was good for the team because of her gender, and it was brought up many times. And like a lot of like even like the casters and the analysts, like they'll get hate on because they are a woman.
You see that a lot with Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're right. Goddess got a lot of shit. And half the people that were saying that she sucked and were horrible, I was like, dude, I know she could beat your ass. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, definitely better.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, I'm pretty sure she could whip your ass, but yeah. But she still is like on with Sonics, right? She's on like the content creation side or the management side or something.
She's more on the staff side of them than the playing side.
Yeah.
Do you think esports? Go ahead.
No, you first.
I don't know if mine is as relevant as your question. So
you don't know what my question is.
I don't know, because I'm kind of going off topic right now.
I could be asking her what her thoughts are on Dr. Pepper versus Mr. Pibb. You don't know what I'm about to ask.
Okay, if you insist. Do you think esports is going to change later down the road?
I feel like it's definitely like made a bigger milestone in changing like that.
Yeah.
It'll probably still take some time because people are still in that mindset that like this is a man's thing, like this is for men type thing instead of it's for everyone. So I know we still have like a lot of progress to go in esports, but I think we are like moving on the better track, like on the right track.
You even see that in video games. Like, wasn't there like a huge like stink over Assassin's Creed, how there could be a female character playable, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what?" And flipping their shit.
Yeah, same thing in Call of Duty too. People are like, "Oh, you can be a female now? Like, why?"
Yeah.
So.
And that is one thing that I think Siege does really well. Is like at least in operators, like the gender balance. Of course, I did hear the shit of there's no female Navy SEALs. This isn't accurate. I was like, well, there's also no fucking see-through wall gadget where you can see people's heartbeats and
I mean, yeah, there's holes. You can see through walls with a heartbeat pulse.
No, I'm saying in real life though.
Oh, I thought you meant in the game.
No, like in real life. So people are like, "There's no real life female Navy SEAL. This isn't accurate." And it's like none of this shit's accurate, guys. Like some of the gadgets are accurate, but there's no EMP grenade in real life that you can throw and take out a whole fucking city block of electricity.
I don't know. I kind of want Cav's ability, man. I can see everybody.
Yeah, that works too, right?
Yeah, that's how that works in real life, right?
Oh my god.
Okay, sometimes I like rolling female characters. So when they try to fuck with me, I'm like, "Ha, surprise, bitch!" And this manly voice just comes on, and like, "Oh, never mind."
My brother does that. Sorry, I don't think he's watching anyway. It's okay, Bobby. But my brother does that in all the MMOs that he plays. He always has female characters. So Jackie Attacky says that there was a study that found that the lower skilled male players of Halo 3 were more hostile towards teammates with a female voice, but behaved more submissively towards players with the male voice. Higher skilled male players, however, behaved more positively, which argues that poor performing males are more hostile towards women in terms of gaming. That would have been smart, Jackie, if we actually did our research before this and looked up studies and stuff.
Why do you think that is, though?
Is that like a question? Or like
yeah, like, just anybody. If anybody can answer that, like, why do you think there's no right or wrong answer? Because we really don't know, right?
I mean,
my thoughts on that.
Why do you think that is?
Are like because they think they're so good at the game. Because I've seen this in like scrims where people are like, "We're like literally the best team ever," and then they lose, and they're like, "Y'all just like y'all shouldn't be doing that," just because like they think they're so good and they think like, "Yeah, like I'm so good at this," and then they lose, and they're like, "Well, why am I losing? Like there's something wrong here. Like why? Like I shouldn't be losing to a bunch of women."
So I think denial.
Definitely, absolutely. Because I know, like, whenever like I play against like higher ranked players, they're a lot more respectful. But like, when I'm in like playing with like silver, like casual, that's where a lot of it is. And like, if I get like a good bunch of kills and I like drop double digits in a game, everyone just ignores everybody else on my team. Everyone like dropping donuts or whatever, just goes straight for me because I'm doing so good. And I'm like, I don't understand like why you're calling me a shitter when I clearly am not because I'm winning against you. So I think it's like denial or like they're better than me. That's not possible type thing.
Right. Do you think it could have something to do with confidence, self-esteem?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because, I mean, you lose when you think you're so good, and then you're like, well, where was my confidence? Like, I was so confident I was so good, and now I'm losing when I shouldn't be.
But do you think those same people would react the same way going against like scrimming an all male team? I guess is the question, right? Because people don't like to lose, and people act like assholes when they lose. Like I've had that happen where like we 4-0'd a team, and they were like, "You're a bunch of shitters and bots, and like you don't know how to play the game." And it's like, well, what does that say about you, dude? We just like whipped your ass.
We just beat you.
Yeah, but like I just yeah, I don't know. I feel like it seems because I played with some women like before in Siege, and it seems a lot more personal and a lot like more like vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not the same sort of basic like get wrecked kind of get good stuff that you see.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know, because I guess losing against how not you, but like they perceive them as hot, like better players, and like see them as like male better players. You're just like, oh, they're better, like they're shitters, but they're better type thing.
Right.
So, because like I know the main roster for the org I'm in, like they'll get toxic people, but they're Canadian CL, so they are usually better than a lot of the people who call them like shitters and all that whenever they're playing like ranked or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christ says Diamago. Did I pronounce that correct? He says it's an inferiority complex. Men have been told they are stronger and better than women, so when they lose to a woman, their manhood is being put in check against the norms they have been brought up with. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Masculinity.
There's a whole like women need to be protected. They're soft, I guess.
Right.
That makes sense. Like they're soft, they need to be protected. Like they can't do things on their own type thing.
Right. So maybe they feel inadequate as a man because they lost to someone they were supposed to protect and they were supposed to defend.
Another study about Halo 3 players and toxic. I mean, I think it's good to have studies to corroborate it, but I feel like at this point in time, we know that women get it harder in gaming than men do. But I'm sure there's a million studies on it, probably.
So I'm gonna be a little evil for a second, okay? And this is just thinking outside the box a little bit. Would you think that it is a possibility that regardless if you were a man or a woman and you're playing on the same team as some toxic asshole and they decided to hurl some insults at you and wasn't aware whether you were a female or male, they were going to do it anyway, but the fact that you were a female just made it worse?
Oh, is that like, I'm sorry.
So yeah, do you think?
Yeah, repeat the question.
So okay, so let's just say you have a teammate, right? And this teammate is already an asshole, and he was going to be toxic to people regardless of what gender you were, male or female. He was going to be toxic to you regardless. Do you think the toxicity that certain women face in game could have been possibility that they could have just been a victim? Period.
Like wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
Yeah, I
not affected their women.
Because there are people who like I have a solo account where it's not a feminine name because my main account it does have a feminine name, but my other account does not, and I like won't speak. I'll still get the toxicity, but they just won't know my gender.
Right.
So yeah, I do believe like yeah, people are gonna get hate like gonna be toxic if they will like want to be, even if they don't know your gender.
Right.
And then sometimes it'll get worse as soon as they do know your gender, or it'll stay the same if they know it anyway.
Sure. Is it like Veiny Gun 69? Is that something similar?
Yeah. How do you know?
I did my homework. Okay. I did my homework.
I thought I hit that account, man. That's like my third one.
Yeah. It's these are one of the things where it's just like how do you tackle things like this? And to me, a part of me wants to think, I don't think they understand how much damage is being done. I don't think they understand the mental hit that women take when you attack their gender that way.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it is possible that people are just being toxic to be toxic, and they're just using your gender as a form of insult?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's not because that you're a female, it's because you just happen to be a female. They're just using it as an insult generator.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like people, there are gonna be assholes everywhere in the world. So I do agree with that. Like they'll just use it to, I guess, base insults on or like build up more insults. If that makes sense.
Right. They're just using your gender to create more insults.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So I just feel like we just kind of need to improve our culture as a whole. And any kind of toxicity is unacceptable. And I don't think a lot of developers are taking a strong enough stand against things like this. Like there is zero reason to be toxic at all. Anybody who's been reported as toxicity, if there's anything that's been flagged as obscene language, they should be suspended. And if there are enough suspensions, they should be banned. Like sometimes I play Final Fantasy 14. That game is extremely strict when it comes to toxicity. You get hit once, you're done for. So no one dares say anything out loud. And it works. It's a system that works. They have a huge player base. Tons of people still play that game.
Siege is getting better. Like they've done a lot in the past year to try to improve that. I mean, you can now like all chat is default off, but then your own team is another story. But like I've gotten many people banned for toxicity in voice chat now, and you get a nice email when you get someone banned. So you get an email that'd be like, "Congratulations, that fucker's gone," and you're just like, "Hooah."
Sometimes if like you do know people and like you have the clips, you can just straight up like send it in and that's it. Like they're done. Like you have the proof. Like here's the proof of them being toxic. Like they said very bad words, whatever. Here, send it in and that's it. Like they're done for. Because there is like the in-game like reporting system, and sometimes that does take a lot longer to get to, because they have to like go back get all like the logs and all that. But if you can directly put a report in for it and be like, here is all your evidence, there you go.
Right.
So CJ's done a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Overwatch was terrible about it. I was a hardcore Overwatch player for a while, and they were terrible about punishing people who were toxic. Because I don't think they knew how to tell what was actually toxic behavior. They were like, is this behavior... Right. And it's like, was this behavior justified? I was like, it doesn't matter if it's justified. You don't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
If someone calls you an asshole, you don't want to, like, what reason would you want to call them an asshole back? Like, you're just feeding into that toxicity. Why would you do that? There's no reason for it. Ban them both or suspend them both.
Yeah.
If they get enough suspensions, just fucking ban them.
They're gone for it like that.
Right. They're going to have to buy the game again. That's on them, right? That's more money in your pocket. No, that's a terrible way of saying it. that is the culture. That is a culture that people shouldn't perpetuate. They shouldn't allow that kind of behavior to continue.
That is true. Yeah, Xbox does have com bans.
Right.
Yeah.
So guys, Xbox, that was so bad.
Right. But at the end of the day, I still think these bans and suspensions are still a band-aid to what the real issue is. These suspensions and bans are just a band-aid saying, "Oh, you know what? You misbehave, so you're not going to be able to play this game for this certain period of time." Right? That's kind of a band-aid. You're not going to actually teach the person a lesson, and it's not game developers' job to do that. They're not responsible to teach people how to behave. Their teammates and the opposing team is not their responsibility to teach people how to behave. There's plenty of times when we playing any kind of competitive game, and the teammate starts hurling insults at everybody, and people have tried to calm them down. It's like it's not their responsibility to. It's not going to work, and it never has. Yeah. So the biggest question is how are we as a community going to hold people accountable for their behavior, to let them know it's like, hey, what you say is hurtful towards other people. And I'm not trying to say it in like a fatherly manner or a mentor-like manner. I'm just saying this is basic human fucking decency. You do not talk to people that way. How do we combat this? How do we get this to people's heads?
I mean,
that's a heavy question. I know.
That's like $1 million question.
Well, I mean, there's always the whole like lead or follow by lead. I don't know how the saying goes.
Lead by example.
Thank you. Yes, lead by example. Because if you're like, say it's just a team of completely randoms and one person's just being an asshole and everyone else is like, why are you like this? Then I feel like that makes that person kind of go, okay, like I'll stop. Like I'm literally the only one throwing insults at someone and everyone else is like, why are you being an asshole? Like I feel there's always that. There's like, because if the more you're around your friends, like say like your friends are just all like, they're just all the rudest people. Like I don't know why you'd be friends with them, but say they're all just rude to like one person. You start to follow in their lead, even if you like you don't realize you are. So you're gonna start like being more toxic to people, and you don't realize it until like someone calls you out on it. And you're like, "Oh, I am," type thing. Where you're gonna be like, "No, I'm not." Right. But I feel like if everyone's just like super calm and like, "Yo, stop being rude," everyone would be like, "Okay, like we'll start being like, stop being rude." Like,
right. Do you also think it could be like a self-defense mechanism? Like, let me show these people who's boss so they don't fuck with me.
I've definitely I know I've been toxic to my friends, and it was definitely self-defense. I'm not gonna exclude myself and be like, I've never been toxic in my life, because I know I have. Especially like when I get like furious at my friends, and they'll say something, and so I'll be like rude back, and that's like self-defense because like what they said was like, okay, that kind of hurt, so I'm gonna be rude back, so it hurts you as much as it hurt me. So I think it is like definitely a self-defense thing.
Right. Because I've gotten into some matches, and this can apply to any game. I feel like I've gotten into matches where I've said something that was pretty short. It wasn't meant to be rude, but someone clapped back really hard. And I remember this was in an Overwatch game, and this is where roles, you play whatever role you want, and some people just insta-lock a certain role. Like one guy insta-locked a certain role, and they were telling me to play a certain role that I just didn't feel like playing at the time. And I responded to, what's holding you back from playing them? And he just goes off on me. And I'm like, I didn't even, like, dude, like, who?
Yeah, like why?
Hurt you today? Someone must have hurt you today. And then we started winning, and I was just like, hey, man, like, I don't like the way this match started off. I was like, I'm sorry if I came off like a dick in any way, but I wasn't trying to be rude. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry too, man. And that was a nice happy ending. We beat the shit out of the other team. And I made a friend. I mean, we don't talk anymore, but it was a short friend.
That's how best version starts. You're rude at first, and then you're both like, okay, that was rude. And then you're friends now, and you're like, okay, like I know where this line kind of is.
Right. So do you think it's a possibility that we could fight toxicity with empathy?
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I do it all the time. People start being rude, and I'm like, I feel like you just need a hug. And I'm just start like super and they hate it. Like it drives them nuts. Like they're sitting there trying to get a response, and I'm like, you sound like you just need a hug. Like, do you want to talk about your day? Like, you sound like you need a friend. And they're just like, why are you being nice? Like, I'm literally just being so rude, and you're being nice. It's like, no, like you just sound like you need a friend.
Yeah.
So there is that. I mean, like, eventually they'll just stop because they're not getting a reaction. Because I do think that's also like why some people are toxic, because they just want a reaction out of you. They just want to see how you're gonna react. So if you don't give them what they want, they're like, well, like now it's just not fun.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had, and this isn't the exact sort of thing, but like there was one game when I was like just not doing well, and this person on my team was like, how could you miss that shot? You fucking yada yada. And I just simply said like, yeah, you're right, man. That was really bad. I'm sorry. I'm trying. And then like they were nice for the rest of the game. They're like, oh, it's all right. We'll get him next round.
Yeah.
Like I guess they expect me to be like, no, fuck you, you piece of shit. But instead I was like, yeah, man, I missed. Sorry, dude. That shot was bad.
I think you were on stream when that happened.
Probably.
I watched that. I'm like, wow, that guy's a dick.
Yeah, probably. I think
I sneak into your stream sometimes. You may not know this, but I sneak in and I'll watch for a little.
You're very, very sneaky.
Yeah, I watch you while you sleep, Don. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
You leave a camera pointed at the bed. He kind of hacks in. He's like, I just want to watch a little.
So one interesting thing too is I feel like when someone tries to step up and I don't want to say defend, but like let's imagine like Allie and I are on a team, we're playing Siege. Someone else on our team is like, I don't mean this, and I'm just gonna say someone on our team is like, fuck you, bitch, get back in the kitchen, you dumb, you dumb bitch, what are you doing playing Siege? If I step up to be like, hey man, nah, like she can play like anyone else, now I'm a white knight or a simp.
You're a simp, yep.
Yeah, so it's almost like I feel like a lot of people are probably afraid to step up and like support their team and do the right thing to then being, you know, labeled a white knight, or which is like, one, why is that such a bad thing to like, you know, try to I guess there's two schools of thought. Maybe it's partially like, well, she shouldn't have to have you defend. But like, you should do that to anyone, whether they're a woman or a man on your team. If someone else, like a random in your group, is being toxic as hell, you should like step up either way, right?
Yeah, no, I was duo queuing with one of my friends, and in like in game, he was like, "Oh my god, is that a girl?" Like just to mess with me. And this guy was like, "Dude, don't be that dude. Like, don't like we're trying to have a good game. Don't be that dude." And I was like, that's probably like one of the first times I've heard a random like step up and like be nice. Like even though my friend was like messing around, like they stepped up and they were like, "Don't be that dude. Like she's just trying to play." And I was like, I respect that. Like I really like I hard respect that, because a lot of randoms will just either not say anything or they'll go along with the toxicity. So like it's like really nice to see someone like step up and be like, "Don't be that person. Like be nice," type thing.
Or be like, "I do that for you, regardless of whether you're a male or female."
Like my friend, if like my friends start like shitting on someone, I'm like, "Yo, like why are y'all being mean? Like there's literally no reason to. Like he's trying to do his thing." And I'll be like, "Yo, like ignore them. Like, you know, I believe in you. Like you got this. Like you can do it."
Right.
I don't think you should really be like rude to anyone. I know I've been rude to people who have been rude to me. So like again, like I'm the most wholesome person ever. I don't do anything wrong.
Of course not.
But but like I definitely think like, you know, if someone's shitting on someone else for no reason, like step up, like be nice to them. Like maybe they just need a friend. Like that's all.
So does someone want to share what a simp is?
I don't know
what supposedly a simp is.
I don't know the origin of a simp. I know a simp is supposed to be what? Someone who it's too nice to women, or too like
I can tell you the exact definition, or like basically the exact definition. It's someone who puts a woman on a pedestal and treats them as such. Like treats them as they essentially, because we've Googled it many times. It's someone who puts a woman on a pedestal in order to receive something out of it.
Right. I hate the word simp too.
What's the etymology though? Like, where's like the origin of that word simp? Like, what's it short for? Like simpleton? Like, what is simp?
Sure, simpleton
like,
sounds great.
I think that's what it is. I really think that's what it is.
I don't know.
And I put Donald on a pedestal. I put a lot of my friends on a pedestal because I look up to them. I look up to all my friends in a certain way. So does that mean I simp for Don?
Yeah, you simp for me.
Do you simp for me?
Oh yeah, I always.
You better say yes. Okay.
I always simp for you.
You simp for each other.
So it's apparently from hip hop slang. It's older than you think. Hip hop lyrics from the late 1980s and 90s were already using simp as an insult of men of a man perceived too subservient to a woman. Wow, I can't read. So it came from like 1980s, 1990s from hip hop songs.
Oh damn! Crisis spelled it out for us.
Oh wait, I got it. Okay, I got what it stands for.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, stream. It stands for suckers idealizing mediocre pussy. is apparently,
well, not exactly, but similar. Yeah.
Yep. I've seen
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or suckers infatuated with mediocre pussy. Oh my god.
What does that even mean? What the fuck is mediocre pussy? What does that even mean?
I guess it's a woman that is not worthy of the infatuation.
Are they talking about the actual
vagina? Probably not.
Or
Probably not.
Is it like I don't understand like where the mindset comes from, and I know it's from the 80s. That's like our time, but
barely. I was born 87, so like I'm more of a 90s kid, I guess, but.
I think I borderlined 80s and 90s. I think I was early enough in the 80s where I kind of borderlined it too.
My God, this went down. This went down the rabbit hole.
Sometimes I wonder where the fuck people come up with this shit. Like I don't understand. Like I don't get it. Where do people come up with this stuff? It's like we're already trying to get rid of shitty words. We are already trying to tell society not to say shitty words, and then yet we're coming up with more. Like, what the fuck? Like, stop it. Cut it out.
It's like
Let's speak the language we all agreed on, right?
It's like calling people a scrub. Like that came from.
What is that from? Like, what is that from? What is that from?
It's from a song.
I don't want no
I think the song is just
TLC.
called Scrubs.
Yeah, TLC.
Oh, that's
I don't
right,
want no
TLC.
scrub.
I can't get no love from me. Sit in the passenger side with best friends ride trying to holler at me.
That is
I just
correct.
keep thinking of the stuff that freaking nurses wear and lab techs wear.
Yeah.
Scrubs. Yeah.
So in chat, we got a possible double standard that is being drawn. And I get that. And we kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier too, but not really to that extent though. But like, so chat saying they don't want to sound like they're hating on women because he's not. But women complain that they're not treated with respect, and then they get called a simp when they try to treat them like a princess. Is what chat is saying.
Yeah, that kind of happens a lot. I know my friends get called simps all the time.
Does the term simp actually bother you? If I got called a simp, I'd be like, okay.
I think some people wear it like a badge of honor. Like, I think some people use it as an insult, and some people jokingly are like, yeah, I simp for...
I simp for all my friends. Like, I'll say it. Like, I use it in, like, a positive way. Like, I simp for my friends. Like, I'll do anything for my friends type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to be like, wow, you're such a simp.
But should you let terms like that bother you? I mean, there are some things that are obviously bad that actually have a history to it, right? And we don't need to mention those, but there are certain things that are said to you that really, like, should they really bother you?
I guess it depends on context. Because, like, I know...
Okay. Let's
like,
use simp, for example.
Some people.
Let's say simp, for example. Or someone called me a bitch. Or someone called me a pussy, right? Should those things really bother me?
I would say no.
Right.
No, but I mean, they do. Like, even though, like, they're just words and they should bother you, they're going to type thing.
Sure.
It's like one of those, I don't know why this bothers me. Like, it shouldn't, but it does.
Sure. So I mean, to not give power to that word anymore. Is there a mindset that we can be in to not let those words bother us? And I know it's kind of like questionable because those words shouldn't be used in the first place. Mm-hmm. But I say this all the time. You can't control the way other people behave. You can't control what other people say. It's not your responsibility to. But it seems like people are constantly throwing darts at you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know they hurt at times, but at the same time, it's like, how much are you gonna actually let that bother you? And I think we need to be in a mindset where it's just like, if you really need to question yourself that deep of a level, if someone's calling me a bitch or any other negative adjective, whatever, right? Am I really those things? Obviously, the word is no. So why should I let those terms bother me?
Well, and most of these people are people that you're never going to meet in real life. They don't even actually know who you are. And I think this speaks more to the general toxic nature of like our online interactions, like social media, online gaming, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's all shit that like, and like someone in chat, Brutu mentioned this. It's shit that no one would ever really say to your face. Like if we're walking down the street and I hold the door open for Allie, someone's not gonna be like, "You fucking simp! Look at you, you bitch!" Like they're not gonna do that, right? It's a different world online than in real life, and like I think we need to recognize that like online is fucking crazy, and it's not. Yeah.
Sure, but well, can those things happen to you in real life?
I mean, it could, I guess. I've never had anyone accuse me of being...
Like, what would you consider real life, then? What if someone texted that to you? Or what if someone called you?
But those are people that you know. Those are people that you actually know, right? Like, so when we're in a siege lobby and someone is, calling me, a dumb bitch and I should, like, go kill myself. They don't know me. Like, so,
Were you about to censor yourself there?
No, I was trying to think what insult I wanted to hurl out.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to figure out what I was going to pull out. But, like...
I thought after all this time, we've been talking for 46 minutes. Out of all our time, 46 minutes of obscenities, you decide to censor yourself now. No. So I was just curious. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was rude of me.
No, you're fine. It's okay. You're forgiven. All is forgiven. But, like, I do think that, like, online, they don't know you, right? So they don't know who you are. All they know is, like, your screen name and that you're whipping their ass in Siege or whatever it is, right? Like, that's all they know. So it's easier for me not to internalize and personalize it. Now, like, if my best friend texted me and, called me a stupid bitch and a bot and told me to go kill myself, then maybe I'd be like, oh, fuck,
What did I do?
Yeah, but, like, a random person online, I also have really thick skin. Like, it takes a lot to really offend me and upset me.
Right, but should you still let those words bother you? That's the point I'm trying to prove.
I mean,
whether it's in real life or whether it's online, the same rule kind of applies, right?
If the words aren't true, yes, I agree with you.
So you're saying if the words are true, you should take it personally?
Maybe they're trying to get you some help. like okay, example, and then out of nowhere, I keep getting tagged. What's up?
I'm trying to say it's wrong. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it's wrong, and people
It
who
is
use
wrong.
that language towards you just shouldn't let it affect you, regardless of who it comes from.
I agree. I mean, I agree with that. People just need to shake it off. Don't let others bring you down. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, Milo.
Because it really is not a big deal. I mean, they're just labels and names. Yeah, it is easier said than done. And this is the part where and Donald, this is where your clinical expertise comes in, right? What kind of skill sets would we use to accept these kind of things and to not let them bother us?
Well, I mean, so like, I would say some of this, my first question would be like, why do you let it bother you, right? So like, I'm wondering, is it validating some like beliefs you already have about yourself? Like, so like, if I'm playing a video game and I feel like I suck at this game, and people on my team are calling me a shitter and a bot and telling me I suck, is it validating like my own beliefs that I suck? Because I feel like if you truly don't believe the words, like, why would it upset you, right? Maybe you'd be a little taken back, like, wow, these people are being fucking assholes, right? But like, if it really hurts you deep down and personal, I'm wondering if part of you maybe believes it. And then there's a whole process you can go about actually challenging, like, is this really true? Sometimes defining the terms help. So like, if you feel like you're, you know, if someone tells you you're a stupid idiot, sometimes like defining your terms, like, well, what is truly an idiot? What does it mean to be stupid? And then examine the evidence. Well, am I actually this? Most of the time, you're not. You know.
Yeah. So next time someone makes fun of you, just hit them with that. Can you give me a metric? What makes me stupid? What do I have to do in order to be labeled as stupid?
Yeah.
Like, how do you measure that?
And now, if you don't believe it, but you're still hurt that this person said it about you, go down the rabbit hole of like, what's the worst case scenario if this random person online in my party thinks I'm an idiot? What does that mean? What's the consequence of, you know, Big Dick 420 calling me an idiot? Like, what's the consequence of that? Well, I'm going to feel bad right now. I'm going to be done with this match and I'm going to re-queue and I'm not going to have to ever see Big Dick 420 again. It's not that big of a deal. Deep breaths. Shake it off. I mean... what do you think, chat?
That's why understanding these things are important, you know?
So much chat.
I know. It's amazing. I love the interaction.
It's nice. It is nice.
I fucking love it.
So you stream also, Allie, right?
I do, yes.
Have you noticed that same trend towards toxicity based on who you are, translating from like as a streamer, Allie the streamer versus Allie the competitive Siege player?
I mean, kind of. Like, I guess it's just different toxicity type things, and like streaming and this. I would really say I've dealt with too much toxicity in my chat. It's more of strange interactions. Sure. Like, there are some people who come in and like my mods insta ban them because they'll say something like super rude and like that's it, like done. But I think more toxicity is like just playing the games. Like, that's where most of it comes from. Because with streaming, it's like, yeah, like it happens every now and then. Like, it slips in, whatever. Like, someone's toxic. But like most of the time, I just get very weird chat messages.
So it's more like sexually assaultive verbal things if you do get weird things in chat, as opposed to Siege where it's like attacks on you as a person.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have to deal with that. I do not have any of my Twitch chat people coming in here and sexually harassing me. That is not a thing.
Right. Yeah.
No. I do not welcome that either.
Right. So I think we're at a pretty good time right now. So before we go any further, there's something I wanted to announce that I've been working on. Well, there's been a lot of buzz around my Twitter lately, and I've been looking for like content creators and stuff like that. So I know there's some people in here who want to know like what the hell is it that I've been up to. So here it goes. as I said, I know there's been a lot of buzz over the past few days coming from my Twitter about looking for streamers and content creators and so forth. So the reasoning behind that is because I'm creating a community within Twitch filled with mental health advocates. The ideology we're trying to promote is to get rid of the stigma surrounding mental health. When we talk about mental health, the last thing we want to do is to make people feel like they're going through therapy, or they're being institutionalized, or they feel like they're being forced to learn about their mental health. We want to approach these issues authentically and realistically, the same way that we're doing it on this podcast. We don't really like to get too clinical. We like to be authentic about it. And realistic, most importantly. And as you know, toxicity in gaming, we wanted to kind of correlate that to mental health and how it affects you, and how it affects you as a person. So it's disappointing and kind of misleading to tune into a quote unquote positive vibes only stream and not actually get positive vibes. So I feel like we need to nourish this phrase back to where it's supposed to be. So our goal is this: we want to create a community completely supported by mental health advocates, and I mean true mental health advocates, those who practice what they preach. We don't want this information to be spoon-fed. We're not here to force it on you. We just want to show you that what supporting mental health actually looks like. It's a safe place. We want our viewers to surround themselves and be involved in streams where the streamer and moderator can be supportive if need be. Phoenix streamers and moderators will actually be going through some basic mental health training to gain a different perspective on how they communicate and how they help the community by being knowledgeable on resources. I understand Twitch is trying, but as a community, our culture ain't it. We don't believe in fighting fire with fire. We think the content we're providing is important enough for folks to have it for free. None of this content will be locked behind a paywall, so we aren't going to start a Patreon or an OnlyFans. Any monetary donations we take are going right back into the organization. So with that being said, we're looking for Twitch streamers and content creators who will be curating material surrounding mental health advocacy. Everybody has unique stories and different life experiences. Not only will they be creating content surrounding mental health advocacy, but actually practicing it. We want our streamers and moderators to practice the basic skills that we feel are basic: non-judgmentalness, practice acceptance and patience and tolerance. There is not nearly enough of that, and we want to change it. Mind Games will be moving to the Phoenix Mental Health Twitch channel in October. We also have 3 other streamers lined up who are joining our team as well. They'll be announced soon. We also have another popular guest who will be joining us on the Mind Games podcast. As far as programming goes, what we have in the works will be a tutorial arts and crafts, a talk show, and a gaming program, and I'll have more details on those later. This is a very ambitious project that will expand way past Twitch, and we would love to have people with the same mindset join our family. You can follow us on Twitter at MHPhoenix, and you can follow our Twitch channel called Phoenix Mental Health, all one word.
I'm gonna post the links here.
Does anybody have any questions?
If I could spell, that would probably be beneficial.
Okay, I can't either.
And just to give a little context to why we're even doing this for anyone that hasn't seen Mind Games before. So Colorproof and myself used to work together at a residential treatment facility for adolescents with acute psychiatric disorders. He ran the facility. I was a therapist at the facility. So we're both very passionate, and that's actually what we met there. That's what led us to here, and that's why we're doing this. That was a very cut and dry.
Yeah. And the most important part about this is that we're actually writing 2 different curriculums, both training curriculums. They're being written by 2 therapists, and they will be peer reviewed by doctors. So this is no bullshit training that you get for $20 that you see online somewhere. This is actually from mental health professionals. So we want to make sure that, when you are streaming, not only for Phoenix Mental Health, but for yourself, when you're streaming for yourself, you'll know how to approach a lot of these issues that you come across. It'll make your life easier. It'll be supportive of your viewers and so forth. So this is the real deal. We're not fucking around. There's a lot of shit that happens on Twitch that I do not like. And when I started streaming back on and off since 2012, 2013, it has grown into this, I don't want to use any negative words, but it has grown to be a place that I don't remember it to be. And I want it to be back to where it was. Hi, Dad. I saw you wrote it, so I want to say hi to your dad too.
Who's the dad? Planet Hopper? What's up?
Yep, that's my father.
Welcome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what we're working on. There's a lot of things that are coming. I'm I've been working day and night for the past week on getting the necessary materials out. So if anybody is interested, any help is good help. But I want to turn Twitch back around, and I wanted to get rid of this culture that Twitch has built up, and it's not a healthy one. So we want to turn it back to the way it was.
And you don't have to be like a therapist or have a degree in psychology to do this. It's more so about like advocating and helping to reduce stigma. So like you don't have to be a professional therapist like myself or run a facility like Color Proof or have a degree in psychology. You just have to be passionate about mental health, I guess, really. Is what it is.
And we'll go over all that stuff in training. I mean, we'll teach you a lot of tricks. We'll teach you a lot of evidence-backed methods and everything, and we'll go over all the ethics and morals. So you're not going to be put in a place where there's like you have any legal issues or anything like that, because really we're taking the extra step to provide training for people because we want to make sure they don't get in trouble. We want to make sure that they have the tools that they need. So we'll make that very clear to everyone. But if you are interested, please DM me on Twitter at color_proof. Color is spelled the British way. The normal color was it was already taken, so I had to spell it COLOUR_proof. So message me there, and I'll give you more information. I'm probably going to set up a meeting sometime where I can answer all the questions that you need, and hopefully Don will be there. And the other therapist I'm working with is Shauna. She's also a therapist as well.
She's also been a guest on this before as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's about time we have her back on too.
I'd be down.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Jeremy always shows up whenever. You did that the other day, Jeremy. You did that the other day too. Dude? You were like, oh. But so for anyone who's just now joining, we were talking about toxicity towards women in gaming. I guess like some final thoughts. What can we do? What can people do? What would you like to see, Allie? Like, so if you're in a match and there's some asshole being, a piece of shit to you, what would you like to see happen?
If that's your friend, correct your friend. Like, I think that's like, because like if a random goes, stop being rude, like a lot of people will be like, yo, like what the fuck is wrong with you? Like type thing. But like if it's your friend and your friend checks you, I feel like it gets through to you more, and you're kind of like, okay, hold on, like this is someone who's close to me, like telling me like stop, like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like that definitely does like help a lot of like toxicity when like someone who like you're really close with goes, yo, like this ain't right, like end this, and you're kind of like, whoa, okay, like maybe I'll stop and like rethink of what I did. So if it's your friend, check your friend. Like I think that's a big thing. Just like check your friends, check the people you hang out with, and like if someone is being toxic and like you check them and they're still just like continuously like being toxic, separate yourself. Like I don't think like if that's not who you are, you shouldn't be around that, because you're gonna slowly slip into that and not even realize it until somebody else checks you, and then you're gonna be like, okay, well I was becoming that when I didn't want to.
I see chat says work on correcting yourself so you can help correct others. So like some introspection, like have I been a toxic piece of shit to women I played with, kind of thing. Are there like more, so like if we think of like micro macro, so macro would be like, bitch, get it back in the kitchen, you don't deserve to play this, uninstall. Are there also like micro things that people do that are like toxic and offensive, or is it really just the explicit when people are like cursing you and calling you like a dumb bitch and stuff like that?
There's definitely like people treat me like I've never touched a video game in my life. Like I don't know how to play. I'm almost level 300, so I feel like I've been playing a little, like just for a little bit, tiny bit, like maybe like a day or two. So like I know what I'm doing, but then there's those people who will like literally try to micromanage everything you do and basically re-explain the game to you. As in, like, you've never touched it, like, this is your first time ever playing the game, and they're telling you how to play, and, like, just all the basics, and you're like, thank you, I'm aware of that, I've been playing this for a while. So I think that's, like, I would say it's, like, completely toxic, but it's definitely, like, makes you feel dumber, because someone's treating you like you're not smart enough to realize what's going on.
Right.
So it's not just like the get back in the kitchen, make me a sandwich. It's like the little, like, I guess like what you were saying earlier, like snarky remarks in a way. Like it's kind of just like condescending. Big words. There we go.
You got it.
I got it.
You got it.
And I think in like a game like Siege, people need to understand the difference between like IGLing and backseat gaming. Like there's a distinction and a difference. Like an in-game leader is not backseat gaming. Like there's very much a difference there. And I see Crisis says we can't expect the developers to police the community. We have to police ourselves. And then Jeremy says he does try to do it some, but he can't always do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like be the gatekeeper, you know, be the change you want to see and other cliche quotes like that. But it's true though. I mean, it's true though.
And as we mentioned earlier, it's not the game developer's job to teach us how to behave. It's completely up to us as a person, you know? Like what Ali said earlier, you know, keep your friends in check. If your friends are being toxic, I mean, that's a good way to start. Be like, hey man, let's chill out a little bit, right? Approach it with a little more TLC, so don't get on the defensive. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the game developers are focusing on, you know, building games so we can all enjoy it. You know, they bring people together to enjoy. Like it brings a bunch of people together, regardless of who you are, to enjoy something in common. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, we can't really expect much more from them. Like, what else can they possibly do for us? They can't babysit us. You know, they can't parent us. It's not their job.
Yeah. That being said, like we said earlier, Siege is doing some nice things towards that in general compared to like some other games that I played before.
Right.
Now, if we can get some people to stop being toxic dickheads and Fall Guys, I am sick of people grabbing me and throwing my ass off and all sorts of shit.
Pigeons are on site. That's all I'm saying. If you're in a pigeon costume, it's on site. Like, I'm so tired of pigeons.
I have to check this game out.
Well, we're about to.
It's so good.
We're about to. It's yeah.
But pigeons on site, like that's it. Like I don't deal with pigeons.
Does Chad have any questions for us or Ali or anything regarding anything? If not, if you just joined late, this will all be uploaded on YouTube after the embargo, whatever. So 24 hours, I'll have this up on YouTube. Yeah. It'll be up there.
Yeah.
While we wait to see if Chad has any questions, have you played the test server yet?
So good. People don't like the changes. I love it. I love the test server. I love everything that's going on. Like, I love the reinforcement pool because I can just like get all the ones in like one area, and like if someone's like already off site, we need a reinforcement somewhere, I can just like fill it in. I love that, and I love the like scope colors because I can make mine like really pretty blue. Yeah. I like the changes. I like how like Siege is coming along. Not a lot of people like it, but I love it. Like it's definitely something I'm happy to play next season.
I mean, as a smoke mute main, I'm loving the reinforcement pool as well. So I don't have to set up 4 jammers, make 5 rotates, holes in the floor, and 2 reinforcements. So that's
look, as a cav main who likes to hop off site as soon as that
you're gold.
You know, I'm gone. Like I'm gone. Like even one of like my teammates was like, you can now leave site. I said, I can just leave and y'all can do my job. That's it. Like I'm gone. Who knows where you'll find me?
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you guys have anything else, and just one last thing, if you guys do want to contribute to Phoenix Mental Health, just DM me on Twitter or go follow the Twitch channel. Just reach out to me in some way, shape, or form. I'm pretty sure you guys, I'm accessible on Discord as well. So if you guys need me to explain anything else to you, what's involved, just hit me up and I'll be more than happy to give you a thorough rundown of what we're doing.
Are your DMs open?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go and check.
Yeah, double check that.
Okay, I made that account very, very quickly, so
yeah,
I'll go and double check. I'll do it immediately after we're done. But yeah, like I said, you don't need experience. It's not going to be that much in depth. We just want you prepared. That's all. And anybody can help, regardless of what your background is. And I think that's the beauty of advocacy is anybody can help.
So Brutu, we do have a link for the new Twitch channel. I should probably post that.
I'll let you. You got it. I'll let you do it. I don't know if I can post links in your channel.
Probably not, and I'm sure I could give you the permission to, but that's a whole.
I don't know if I can post.
That's a whole thing. Probably not.
He said, "I don't trust you enough to be a mod." Sorry.
I don't have any mods. I don't have any mods set up. Honestly,
we've been friends for years, and you still didn't trust me.
I don't have any mods set up.
Wow.
I'm gonna post some inappropriate, which I might.
You're like, absolutely will, but the fact that you know what I'm gonna do, don't trust me.
Who knows? I might post some helicopter dick. You never
There
know.
it is. There it is. Also, by the way, you all are amazing. Thank you all for watching. Like, this is definitely the highest view count that we've ever had, and I'm sure it's thanks to our lovely guests being here.
I know, right?
But if you like what you saw, we do various topics. All the previous episodes are on my YouTube. We've talked about anxiety. We've had Jeremy on 2 episodes to talk about failure through learning, or learning through failure. That's what it was. We've talked about all sorts of different stuff. So, yeah, Brutu, that's awesome.
Absolutely, Brutu. Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. We appreciate any support that you guys give us.
The channel won't be like fully up and running for a little bit, though.
Right, but you know, the reason for that, the reason I didn't just start it right away is because I want to make sure that we actually have programming in place before we launch the thing. I'm launching a site at the same time, and on the site, I'm hoping to have a good amount of content on it already, with a description of what we're going to do, because I'm trying to attract people from outside of Twitch too. So not only are we trying to improve the culture inside of Twitch, I want to bring people from outside of Twitch into Twitch, because I think it's a great platform. There's a lot of supportive people here, and plus the tool is great. I mean, you can live stream and do VODs all at the same time and interact and chat. It's great. It's just a lot of people take it for granted. So, yeah, that's it.
So here's a serious question. So I know Colorproof and I are going to be playing Fall Guys. Are you going to join us, Allie, or?
You know, I would love to. If y'all will have me, I will join.
Absolutely. So I don't know if anyone else, I'll be streaming it. I don't know. Anyone else is welcome to stream who's playing or not. Awesome. So, there you go. So you can see the mayhem that's coming forward either on my stream or Allie's stream.
Yeah, I got a new controller for this. Like, I'm ready.
Is that the way? Is that the move? I've been doing keyboard and mouse.
I promise. Controller is the move. It is so much easier, because I've like started mouse and keyboard and I was like, I hate this. Like, this is dumb. I hate this game. And then I started using my controller. I was like, nope, I got this. Like, you're all in for it. Like, I win.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Next week, I will do my best drumming Spider to pull her off the map every round. I will do my best.
Yo, on site, I swear. I'll find your number.
I pull off for bits. But no, so
it's subbed.
You said pull off for bits, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I like the biddies,
sure.
but
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to take like a 5-minute break, and then I'll be back on stream. We do this every Wednesday, so if you liked what you saw, we'll be back live next week, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll tweet out what the topic is when we get there, but thank you all for coming. I'm going to be right back in about 5 minutes.
See you guys.
Bye.